let's get going.
Athletes. The core premise of the movie, that men competing against women gives them an unfair advantage and risks pushing female athletes out of their own sports, is something that's been tackled already and arguably better in shows like South Park. The
That is true.
difference is that while South Park tends to present both sides of an issue and mocks the extreme elements of them before committing to a fairly balanced compromise, Lady Ballers comes down squarely on one side of the issue by pushing it to its most absurd conclusion: two teams of men pretending to be women so they can compete against each other in the final match before hitting the reset button on the whole thing. For the most
And
part, it's not really a
yeah, and that's the thing I wanted to bring up, because some woke people or liberals or people who hate this movie, they are basically coming out with tweets like this. Ben Shapiro wanted to make his trans basketball comedy as a documentary, but found out you can't actually say you're a woman and start dominating sports in real life. And they're like, yeah, see, they're being dishonest, they're being disingenuous, they're misrepresenting the problem. They're basically accusing the Daily Wire of strawmanning the argument. And what I would say is, comedy is about extremes. It's about excess. And so if you guys want to know my opinion on the whole political issue, wait till the end of the video. I'll tell you. But let's just listen to what Ben Shapiro said really quickly, all right?
You approached me and you said we should make a fictional film about this topic. Now, to be fair, I think I'd actually suggested to the Crane Boys that they do this as a doc.
Yes.
I originally went to them and I said, you guys should go try out for a bunch of ladies' leagues. And that became not possible because, as it turns out, most ladies' leagues don't allow in actual
That's a good thing.
men. And they weren't willing to go the full distance in terms of what it would require in order to, the actual hormone treatments and everything to play in some of the
So hold that thought. And so in terms of Lady Ballers is a comedy. Like, it's supposed to take things to the extremes, just like South Park. And so I don't think it's disingenuous or a straw man argument to say that, to take things to an extreme to make your point, especially in a satirical or comedic sense.
as
Let's keep
edgy
going.
or as ruthless with its subject matter as I expected. In fact, it's almost like it doesn't quite know what to do with the premise once it starts running with it. Apart from showing men physically destroying smaller and weaker female athletes over and over again, the film doesn't feel the need to explore the issue in more depth or complexity. Which is a shame, really, because at close to 2 hours, it's pretty long for what it actually delivers.
Yeah.
A 90-minute cut would have
Yeah, it
trimmed
is.
the fat and delivered better pacing. The actors are serviceable enough for the most part, I guess. Nobody's going to be winning any Oscars for this one, but it's pretty much the level of performance you'd expect from a sports comedy like this.
Yeah, I think the acting. I thought the acting was fine, but yeah, for me, it's the pacing and the length of the movie that really got to me. I was very impressed with the first fifth of the movie, where I thought the pacing was really good and everything with the story was flowing very, very nicely. But the second fifth, oh, it got so bad. Really, really bad. It slowed down to a crawl with all sorts of extra stuff thrown in there that didn't need to be in the movie. Thankfully, the third, fifth onwards, it got back to being pretty good. But I would agree with Drinker that the movie keeps the idea very basic, and I think that's kind of it's kind of a good thing in terms of what the movie was trying to be. It's not trying to be an in-depth, lecture or anything. It's just trying to show that, hey, it's giving very basic, simple commentary that I do think is valid. But we'll talk more about that at the end of the movie. But yeah, this movie should have been like 20, 30 minutes shorter, and it would have been a lot better. Speaking of, people reviewing it, a lot of articles, such as this one, are saying that, right-wing trolls are spamming anti-trans comedy Lady Ballers with 5-star reviews. And, you can go right here on to Rotten Tomatoes to see that 94% audience score. And so, for me, I wouldn't give the movie, I think I gave the movie 3 stars. If they had cleaned up the second fifth and shortened it, I think I could have given it like 4 stars. But yeah, there's a lot of people really, really loved it and really, really thought that it was great. And, you know, we're going to do another video on whether or not this movie was escapism or just pure activism. You know, are people liking this movie simply because it's in their own bubble and confirms their message? Like, are people being, you know, very biased, like the woke left? You know, if you tell them something that they want to hear, they're going to love it regardless of the objective quality of the movie. Who knows? I can't say. I don't know why these people. At the end of the day, I'm glad people are enjoying the film because I'm not someone to want art to fail, and I do believe that all film is art, even if it doesn't necessarily work for me. But let's skip ahead a little bit to the last part of Critical Drinkers review.
I mean, mocking the most extreme excesses of modern PC culture should be an easy slam dunk, but Lady Ballers makes it seem harder than it needs to by labouring its points a bit too much, trying to drive home its jokes with explanations that aren't needed, and lingering a little too long on things the audience should have picked up already. There's also a bunch of random stuff just kind of thrown in there that probably seem good on paper but doesn't really come together on screen, like one character being obsessed with taking revenge on the team mascot, or a recurring gag about a guy trying to buy time alone with members of the team. None of these goofy little side gags really go anywhere, and really they just feel like the writers threw them in to pad out the runtime. Ultimately, while
agree.
Lady Ballers is certainly not the worst comedy I've seen in recent years, it's not on par with the mid-2000s classics like Dodgeball, Anchorman or Tropic Thunder that it seems to want to emulate. This movie is very much a rough gem, the imperfect first attempt of a company that's still finding its feet as a movie studio, trying to take on multiple different genres all at the same time, and probably finding out that it's a lot harder than it seems. And it's kind of a missed opportunity when I think about it. Like, if your aim is to crack the Hollywood echo chamber and capture that all-important middle ground of general audience appeal, you're unlikely to do it by creating one of your own. Anyway, that's all I've got for today.
Would agree totally. And this is one of the things I want to talk about here in terms of creating echo chambers and asking the question, is the Rotten Tomatoes score of 94% just because this movie is affirming a lot of people in their echo chambers and so they like it for that reason? Again, I can't know that because I'm not in these people's heads. I can't read their minds. I don't know why, you know, they're saying it. But either way, you know, articles are saying that this is one of the, you know, top streaming movie in America. So obviously it's striking a chord. And even though I personally would only give it 3 out of 5 stars, I'm glad that people are giving it, you know, a fair shake. People are enjoying it, or some people are not enjoying it. In terms of the issue and the subject matter, I would say that, you know, hormones are not enough for men to compete in women's sports, because the difference is in our bodies and our biology is just too much. Even a man taking hormones is still way stronger than a woman, and so it just doesn't really add up for me in terms of that. And what the Critical Drinker said at the end in terms of creating echo chambers, you know, Disney is falling right now, right? And Dailywire is actually starting off in a place similar to where Disney is right now in terms of being on one side of the political conversation. Because what happened was Disney, we all remember, used to be this great company, very neutral, just making entertainment that everyone could enjoy regardless of their political beliefs. But as of late, they've been going more and more left-wing, which means people on the right can't enjoy it as much, people on the left enjoy it more. And so Disney's actually moved from neutral over into left sphere, and that's causing, you know, a lot of division, a lot of people boycotting it, people just not wanting to see their movies, a lot of negative talk online. And it's interesting is that the Daily Wire is actually starting in the same position, only on the right side, where they're seem to only be catering to conservative sides. And so whether or not they want to become the next Disney obviously is up to them, or if they're just going to continue to stay a conservative only brand, or if they're going to branch outwards and become more of a politically neutral company and just make entertainment that everyone can love like Disney used to, regardless of political affiliation. We'll have to see. Either way, Daily Wire has an uphill battle in order to get to that place where they could just create, you know, content that lots of people love, makes hundreds of millions of dollars and stuff. At the end of the day, it's a shame that society is getting so fractured and people we're having to like make companies to like serve different halves of the population based on their ideas. I feel like that's not ideal. We should probably find a way to fix this whole culture war thing before it gets too much out of hand. But those are my thoughts on that, and my reaction to the critical drinker. I would agree with him mostly. Fighting Hollywood's woke echo chamber by creating your own right wing conservative echo chamber might not work out as well as we'd hope in the end, but I'm glad people are enjoying the movie. I did enjoy it. There's a few parts where I was just like, skip, skip, skip. But my review will be out soon, so make sure you subscribe for that. And the reason I didn't react to full Critical Drinkers video is because, well, if you guys want to watch him, you can just go to his channel. You know, I'm trying to hold myself accountable to bringing more original content into my videos and my reactions, and not just stare and watch someone else's original work, because at the end of the day, I feel like that's just kind of lazy, and I'm not giving the best value to you guys. And so from now on, my reaction videos are just gonna be small clips from the whole video. If you want to watch the whole video, then just go watch the whole video, and that way I'm creating more original content for you guys and trying to make, you know, more high value stuff for you guys. And that will be all for me today. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace. I will see you later.